Hey there, storytellers! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to the first day of Vlogmas! So if you're just stumbling across my channel for the first time, Vlogmas is very similar to what I did in the month of October for Vlogoween, where I will be doing 25 days. I'm not doing the whole month this time, but I will be doing 25 days from December 1st through the 25th of videos. To kick things off with video number 1, I'm going to be doing a festive TBR. As always, it will be longer than I will probably ever have time to get to in the month of December, but I like to keep things ambitious on this channel, so let's dive right on into it. So, kicking things off, I have 3 audiobooks. The first one is called What Light by J. Asher. What Light follows the story of a girl named Serena whose family owns a Christmas tree farm in Oregon. But every year she travels down to California for the season so that they can sell their trees, thus providing Sierra with essentially a double life, one she has in Oregon and one she has in California. The difference is this year she meets a boy named Caleb in California, and one life starts to eclipse another. What Light sounds like a very cute holiday kind of romance, maybe a discovering yourself kind of journey, but around this time of year, I just like happy, warm-hearted, makes you feel good kind of reading, and this seemed like the perfect book for that. For book number 2, I have Snowed In by Rachel Hawthorne. Snowed In follows a girl named Ashley who is moving with her mother from Texas to a remote small town on an island that is very snowy and cold, and Ashley is experiencing a whole lot of new things. Snow for the first time, small town life for the first time, and boys that really catch her eye. Ashley meets a boy named Josh Winter, how very fitting, and I'm assuming romance ensues, probably some chaotic miscommunication, as is always the case in romances, but again, it seems like a cute holiday read. Audiobook number 3 is Hidden Sea by Gregory Maguire. Gregory Maguire wrote Wicked and the sequel to Wicked and some other ones, all in the Land of Oz, a sort of reimagining of the story, if you will, and Hidden Sea, all I really know about it is that it is a reimagining of the Nutcracker. I know he writes sort of a background that explains the Nutcracker and how he got to be where he is when Clara meets him in the original story, and that's really all I know about it, and it seemed like a fitting story for the time of year. Next we have A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I'm assuming at this point people are familiar with the story of A Christmas Carol. It follows a man named Scrooge who is not a fan of the Christmas season or giving. Because of his wicked ways, he's visited by 3 ghosts who show him the error of said ways, and he goes along his merry way the better for it. I, like you, am familiar with the story, but I don't think I've ever actually read it myself. I thought I'd give it a read for myself this year, especially because it's really not that big. Next on my TBR is Mr. Dickens and His Carol by Samantha Silva. From what I know, this is the author's imagining of how the sort of story goes along Charles Dickens writing his famous Christmas time read, A Christmas Carol. It's definitely an embellished imagining and not a biographic story. I believe if you're looking for something a little bit more biographical about that whole scenario, something that's a little bit more accurate to how it all actually went down and not just an imagining of it, the story The Man Who Invented Christmas. The Man Who Invented Christmas is written by Leigh Standiford, so I believe that's the one you should go for if you want a little bit more of an accurate retelling. This is just an author's imagining, but it seemed like a fun read nonetheless. Keeping with sort of reimaginings of classics, I am going with The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This, as you might have guessed, is a reimagining of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It follows a girl named Holly on her journey as a Scrooge. From what I understand, there is an organization of ghosts who visit people who exhibit Scrooge-like behavior, warn them to change their ways, or else risk becoming a ghost who then has to serve and help others along that journey as well. Holly herself gets warning for her Scrooge-like behavior, but doesn't heed it and ends up being one of the ghosts helping another Scrooge along their journey. Holly starts to develop some feelings and emotional attachment to her Scrooge assignment for this year, and it changes her afterlife completely. This has been one I have been hoping to get to for many seasons now, and now it is finally time, so I'm hoping Actually, I might just get to this one as soon as possible so that I have the chance to say that I read it. Okay, I'm done with Dickens things for the moment, I promise. But I'm not necessarily done with classics, because my next read for the holiday season is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't ever had much interest in reading this novel, but around the time last year, I think, the trailer for the movie came out. It looked really good. I didn't see it yet, but it did look like something I might be interested in as a story, so I've been thinking about it a little bit since then. I'm also not going to pretend I know too much about the story. I know it follows 4 sisters, Beth, Jo, Meg, and Amy, on their sort of respective life journeys. I believe Jo is a writer, so from a writer perspective, I'm a little bit interested in the story to see how that goes. But I don't particularly know the sort of overarching plot. I just know it's a really beloved classic, including beloved by one of my friends. She highly, highly recommends reading it around the holiday season. That's when she read it last year for the first time. She recommended it to me many times, and I saw it in Target and I figured, you know what, I might as well just find another classic to add to my TBR for this festive season, because around this time of year when it's cold and cozy, classics always seem to be the perfect mood for that. Now, my last 3 I don't have copies of yet, whether from my library or myself, so we'll see if I get to them. They're sort of my maybes, but there's a couple that I'm really excited for, so we'll see what happens there. Regardless, the first one is Christmas Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella. I know this book technically takes place far into the Shopaholic series timeline. I've only ever read Confessions of a Shopaholic, the first one in the series, but I do really enjoy it. It's a fun little contemporary read. I enjoy the main character a lot, Rebecca Bloomwood, so even though it would technically spoil some things that happen along the series for me, I thought it would be kind of fun to pick it up anyway. Another book on my list is Pride and Prejudice and Mistletoe by Melissa de la Cruz. Pride and Prejudice and Mistletoe is, of course, a retelling of Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen with a Christmas and gender-bent twist. It follows our main character, Darcy Fitzwilliam. She is a successful woman, 3 cell phones, crazy basketball star friends, the good life, basically. She goes home to Pemberley, Ohio for the Christmas season, but at their holiday party, she meets Luke Bennett, their neighbor. He is a carpenter. He's all about that small town, simple life. He's never left home. Just your all-around sort of Luke from Gilmore Girls, it sounds like. I just put together that their names are both Luke, so there you go. At any rate, I'm pretty sure after that, it just sort of follows that same sort of formula, I guess, of Pride and Prejudice, where a sort of rich, snotty character falls for the lower class, judgmental character. You know the dynamic, I'm sure, by now. At any rate, it seemed like another good classic reimagining for the Christmas season. Last but not least is one I really hope to get to, and that is A Christmas Story by Jean Shepherd. Now, A Christmas Story is my absolute favorite holiday movie. It follows Ralphie Parker throughout his sort of Christmas season, from like the beginning of December all the way through Christmas morning, and it's just this very nostalgic, old-timey, just really heartwarming, relatable Christmas story. So A Christmas Story are all autobiographical pieces by Jean Shepherd. They are pieces comprised from his other 2 works, Wanda Hickey's Night of Golden Memories and In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, I believe. They're very long names. I hope I remember them correctly. But basically, they are his Christmas memories pulled from those 2 volumes and put together in the 1 volume, A Christmas Story, from which they made the movie. Now, I've known for many years now that A Christmas Story was based on Jean Shepherd's book, A Christmas Story, based on his autobiographical works. I'm not going to repeat the names again. Like I said, they're long. But I haven't actually got around to tracking down a copy of the book and reading it myself. Based on how much I love the movie and how funny I find it, I can't imagine I wouldn't enjoy this novel. So I think I need to track it down this year and give it a read. But that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed the first day of Vlogmas. Let me know by leaving a like down below. And also down in the comments, jump down there and let me know what you plan to read this holiday season. What kind of books get you in the mood for whatever holiday it is you celebrate. I'd love to have some recommendations for books that follow holidays other than Christmas. I love Christmas, but I'm all about diversity as well, and unfortunately I just don't know of too many, but I would love to. So if you know of some, please let me know. If you want to keep up with me and all of my bookish adventures, you can go ahead and click the subscribe button, and you should definitely ring the little bell so that you don't miss a beat of Vlogmas. I will see you guys again tomorrow with a new video. Bye!